Next up, a question from Dustin. I'm 27 and my wife and I are saving for our next house, but I'm having a difficult time convincing her to increase our Roth IRA to the max instead of saving everything for a down payment. So here's the spicy, he wants a hot take from you guys. Who's right here? Is it all right to save for a down payment?
Oh, Dustin.
Marriage counselors, Brian and Bo, coming up.
Who's right? There's not a right or wrong answer here, right? Because money is a tool that allows us to do the things that we want to do. What we have to do then is define what are the things that we want to do. Once we have that clearly defined, we can then determine the strategy that allows us to move towards that goal. It sounds like with you and your bride, you are not on the same page about what the goals are. It seems to me she has a goal for the next house. I would argue based on her analysis, based on what I'm seeing here, that's her number one goal. Your goal is building for retirement or financial independence or whatever that is. When it comes to goals, it's this subjective thing where you can't say one person's goal is right and the other person's goal is wrong. What you can say is that maybe pursuing one goal might make it more difficult to reach another goal, but you guys really, in order to solve this conundrum you're in, you got to get on the same page and figure out where the priority is, where the priority lies. Because one answer might be, hey, you know what? Yeah, we got to back down our savings, save for the down payment, get in the house, and then we have to agree we're going to make up for lost time. Or one camp might say, okay, no, we're not going to miss out on a Roth because we know that's a limited opportunity. So we're going to keep doing that, but it might postpone when we get that down payment built up. I am going to advocate that either one of those answers could be right in your circumstance, but what you need to do at 27 years old is feel like, okay, what's the cost of pursuing one over the other? If I'm not saving, and if it takes us 5 years to build a down payment, how much opportunity cost was lost from age 27 to 32 doing that? Counterpoint, if all we do is save and it takes us 10 years before we can buy our first house, what does our family situation look like if we're still renting when we're 37 years old? I think they really, as a couple, have to get on the same page about what they're actually trying to accomplish and pursue.
Well, I want to go a little deeper on something here. Is that because we need to talk about get wealthy behaviors. Obviously, going through the financial order of operations are get wealthy behaviors. And we give, what I think is interesting when I look at step 4, emergency reserves, when we talk about people's first down payment on their first house, we don't tell them they have to put down 20%. We tell them they have to put down 3 to 5% because I know just getting into the home ownership game is hard and we want to help them out. Well, Dustin's already shared, they've already owned their first home. So that means that you bought a house, and I'm hoping that it is appreciated because, we've had this inflationary period. We've had all kind of things that in the background have pushed up the value of real estate. So hopefully, Dustin, you and your spouse have been the beneficiaries of that. Because what I think is we give a grace point on that first home because we're hoping that you get the house and then you get back to building wealth as fast as possible. Move on to step 5, which is Roth IRAs, health savings accounts, and then maxing step 6, which is maxing out your retirement accounts, hyperaccumulation of step 7, and then you get to step 8, which is pre-planned expenses. So we're trying to get you to build wealth while you're young. In your 20s, you only get one opportunity. I would moneyguy.com/resources, go pull up the money multiplier and see what every dollar for a 27-year-old has the potential to become. You'll feel like you're racing the clock because every dollar is so valuable. So here's the thing I would challenge you on, Dustin, is that go look at, because maybe both of you get to do this, meaning you get to keep building wealth by investing in the Roth and so forth, but your spouse also gets a house. If y'all have had enough appreciation in your house that if you did a contingency contract, meaning you didn't sell, you put your first house on the market and you find your new house that you want, put a contingency contract, meaning that in the contract it's written that, hey, I want to buy this house, but I have to close on my house first. And then if you can structure it that way, and then since the real estate market is going back to some normalcy now, or at least cooling off to the point that you get to do due diligence and other things, I think you'll be able to once again start doing contingency contracts too, where you could hopefully have 20% equity in the new house, meaning your down payment would be the equity in your current house. You'd be able to roll it right in. You'd still be able to save and invest for the future. If that's not a case, if you don't have 20% equity or down payment, equity in your house that could be used as a down payment on the new upgraded house, then I think you got to wait until you get to step 8 of the financial order of operations, kind of the prepaid expenses, after you get to a plan to save and invest 20% for the future, because you're 27. You're already in your first house. You've got a lot of good things working for you. You've got to find a way to keep on track and not, try to go to bigger and better before it's time, because you're already there. So I'm hoping that there's a win-win. If you look at the equity of the house, the equity is enough to be that boosted up down payment on the second upgraded house, and it still fits within all the housing rules and everything else, that both of you get a win. Because that's going to be, you don't want to be right and they're wrong. You want to kind of have a win-win situation. That's the situation I'm always looking for.